Hello, how you doing? I'm going to talk about the cheap property update. Now, I have already talked about Brunswick, Georgia. They have a lot of tax delinquent property. And like I said, this is the first thing I recommend you do. Go to the library. Like I said, you don't go to social services first. Go get a library card first. When you go to the library, get a copy of each state that you're interested in, Georgia, Mississippi, or Georgia, Ohio, a county map. Get a county map of each state that you're listening that you're interested in, and just zero in on which county that you're interested in. You zero in on that. For example, in Brunswick, Georgia, if you you can go to the tax delinquent property list. They got their rules. Like I said, you got rules of the state and rules of the county. Okay, so each state has different rules. They're not all alike. They have different dates. So cheap property, I saw a lot in Brunswick, Georgia for $19,000, and it was so large it was enough to build three or four houses on. And this just cost $19,000. Now, see, you would qualify that even if you got $700 in disability, you could qualify for that lot. A bank would give you $20,000 because that's just what your payment would be. $150 a month or something like that. Okay, for a pretty big lot in Brunswick, Georgia. So there are a lot of bargains like that in Georgia. Like I said, I do not recommend you go to Atlanta. I do not recommend you go there. If you don't make $200K a year, you cannot even live half decently there. Okay. If you go to states like Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia, you need to just choose a state. Just go on Zillow to go state by state, county by county. If you want to live in such and such county in Mississippi, go to Zillow first, and just look at the real estate there. And also, just while you're at it, if you say, okay, you want to go to such and such state county in Mississippi, just go say tax delinquent sale in such and such county in Mississippi while you're at it. Okay, and they'll give you the rules and regulations for the county. So that's how you have to do it. And like I said, I explained that in How to Buy Tax Delinquent Property. I explained that you do and you should have a lawyer. That's why I do not recommend people go buy tax delinquent properties 40 or 50 at a time. I don't recommend that. I recommend you just buy one or two because each one you have to pay a lawyer. Okay, you got to pay a lawyer $250 to do a title search, to get the title deed. Frequently, you're going to have to pay these back taxes to the state and other fees. So let's say that you win the bid for a $100 piece of property. Well, you may as well budget for about $1,500 in fees and et cetera, et cetera. And then you get the title deed to the property. So you got to go per county. I do recommend, you continue to look at the Carolinas. And like I said, Ohio has a lot of properties, the Midwestern states, Kansas, Oklahoma. And now look, I do not recommend you go to Phoenix, Arizona, trying to find a tax delinquent property. You need to go into the outlying areas. You need to go find some cheap real estate. If you're going to insist on living in Arizona, I recommend you take that library card and just keep looking for really cheap real estate. And like I said, if you're on disability, I think a bank will give you a $20,000 loan. I think they will. Okay. But, like I said, try to save some money so you have something for a down payment. But those are the states. I already did a video on Brunswick, Georgia, but they still have cheap property. Mississippi still has cheap property. Alabama does. I don't recommend you go to the major cities like Atlanta. I don't recommend that. Like I said, the Carolinas, Ohio, places, all those states that you're in, if you're homeless in Ohio, you can still buy a property in Ohio. Like I said, you need to go to the library. You need to go find out when it's tax delinquent property sale and go on from there. And ask a bank how much. Just go to the bank and say, how much do I qualify for a house? Okay. They'll say $20,000, whatever. And then try to find a tax delinquent property in that price range. So that's a cheap property update. Bye.